So I gave TWOSUN another shot because I seen this online and it happened to have been in the United States. So when I bought it, it was, it showed up really quickly and I loved the look of it. So here is another TWOSUN. What's the number? The TS408. My goodness.
Oh my gosh, they're in the fours?
Yeah, they're in the 400s, yeah. My God, is this attractive. And this hole deployment, oh, it's so good. I gotta say, TWOSUN killed this. They knocked this one out of the damn park.
Did they knock it out or kill it?
Both of them. Home run. Home run right here. We have a 14C28N trailing point blade. The tip is not up too high. You can easily get to it. And you have a dual ground blade, actually. So you have a very slicey flat grind here, very, very slicey. It gets down super thin behind the edge, perfect sharp choil and plunge grind. But then we have a little grind up here on the front end to give it a little bit more thickness right there. The handle is a titanium handle with a steel sub liner lock. I believe it's sub liner. Yeah, so it's basically got a liner that's compressed in here with the backspace and everything. So it's not a sub liner, but it is a liner lock. Very cool. Then we have a titanium deep carry pocket clip with somewhat of a button screw, but it doesn't bother me. It's not in the way. Good access to the lock bar. Look at how smooth this is. So the hole deployment, this hole right here, this shape hole works. It just works so well. It's like the same size of like the Spyderco hole, which is like the best size hole. There's a reason why they've like got a patent on that size hole. Well, this one puts a little angle right there, which actually works to your benefit. So it makes it where you kind of have like I don't know, this little spot right here, because of it having that flat spot, it just makes for a great spot to kick off. And this detent is very, very well tuned. I'm impressed. The ergonomics are phenomenal. Doesn't matter what direction or what way I'm holding it. The balance is really good. See, this is the problem right here though, guys. This is the problem, because this is what sucks you in, right? This is what gets you, is this, because this thing is so damn awesome and the value is so amazing that it makes me now want to go and buy 20 TWOSUNs, and what's going to happen is 50% of them, I don't know, maybe I'm being a little harsh, but it seems that they are cutting corners now. I don't think they did that in the past, but now it seems like, not all models, but with certain models, it just seems like they are cutting corners in order to bring them to you at such a low cost. And then other ones are like, you can't believe how good they are for the money. A 14C28N is a perfect steel for a mass production company. This is another reason why I recommend it so much for, night people that are looking for a quality steel that's affordable. Because unlike a lot of other steels, 14C28N was actually made for knives. It was designed for knives, for mass production blades. It was originally from AEBL, which was originally made for razor blades. 14C is a souped up version of AEBL and is very easy for production companies to heat treat on a mass production level. Not all steels are that way. Some steels are very difficult to properly heat treat rapidly or fast, or mass production, I should say. Because, when you start talking about making a lot of something, obviously things can pose issues, and steel is, in some cases, depending on the steel, isn't something that you want to rush or do, Anyways, the point is, 14C is great. TA hardware all the way around. I don't think I've ever seen this pivot from them. I could be wrong. It's been a while since I've had a TWOSUN. Perfect jimping. I like this thing a lot, like a lot. I think it's very attractive. The action is addicting. This is a good one, man. Like I said, this is where they get me though, man. This is where they get me, because now, yeah, this is a great one, but what is the centering off? Oh, wow, the centering is off quite a bit. It might be, let me just check. Oh yeah, yeah, the pivot's just a little loose. Better, but yeah, still here. Crank, let's crank her down. There we go. One cool thing about TWOSUNs, yeah, there we go. Yeah, there we go, perfectly centered now. One cool thing about TWOSUNs is their bearings. They use like this Teflon plastic with ceramic cage bearings. So it's like a plastic cage with ceramic bearings. And what's cool about that is that material holds the lubrication even better than like a brass caged bearing. And it makes it to where they're so smooth. And what they do is they put a little track in here. Basically, it's just a washer with a groove around the outside diameter, so the bearings have a spot to roll on like a racetrack. I think that's an awesome idea because it makes it to where the ceramic cage bearings are rolling on hardened steel rather than on titanium. And being that they are that plastic cage or whatever material that plastic cage is out of, they're a great pair of bearings. That's one thing I can say about TWOSUN. They do use a good bearing system. Let's see where the stop pin is. Stop pin, good place for both positions. I love this choil, man. That's how it's sharpening choil's done. And this is what kind of aggravates me about some companies, right? TWOSUN's got them down pat, right? I'm not saying all TWOSUNs because it is going to depend on the designer. And Keanu, I've had many of his, well, I don't know about many, but I've had, yeah, no, I have many of his knives. I have some of his knives from Best Tech, TWOSUN, and awesome designer. I'm glad that he obviously designed this to have a good choil. But a lot of TWOSUNs have good sharpening choils and plunge grinds. That's something I have, said for many of their models. So, when I see other companies that would be considered more prominent or whatever, how aren't they doing it better? Love this satin finish. Look at that. The only thing, look at that, it like glistens. The only problem with this satin finish is the steel that it's on. So 14C is very easy to polish, right? It's a steel, it's very easy to polish. Now, what's cool about that is actually that, because some knives, many steels, if they're very easy to polish, in many cases, they polish too easily. And then in that case, the edges get slick because, they don't have any bite. 14C is the opposite way. 14C holds on to a really good bite, even with a polished edge. But when you're talking about a blade finish, the satin is so fine that it will leave fingerprints. Now, this is nowhere near as bad as it used to be. I think they went with a little bit more of a deeper satin, and that's what I would recommend to any of the designers. If you're going to use 14C from TWOSUN, tell them to do a deeper belt satin. Don't tell them to do that. Don't allow them to put a super fine satin on there, because then it's just fingerprint city. All in all, I am in love with this knife. I really, really am. I think this thing is amazing. It's a great size. The fidget factor is like a 10 out of 10. At least an 8 out of 10. Maybe even a 9 out of 10. Phenomenal. Nitpicks and negatives. The only thing I could say is, one, the button screw. I wish that was flat. I don't know why they did that. Is it that big of a deal? No. They have huge pockets milled out on the inside. It is a little weighty, but to me, it's not bad. The geometry is exactly the type of geometry you want on a knife like this. Very, very thin behind the edge. Let's actually measure that really quick as I think of more nitpicks to pick about. I don't have much here, guys, because this is just, it's that damn good. We got 15 thousandths. That's a good thickness behind the edge. That's with their edge angle, and I gotta say, they did not do a bad edge angle. Obviously, it's higher than what I would do, but after I lower back the edge angle, it's still gonna be nice and thin behind the edge, and I have room to do it. The only other thing, this dual grind thing, yeah, I don't mind it. I wouldn't want it on all my knives, but I think it's cool, here and there. It's not really gonna affect much. It's really not doing too much, but putting a little bit more stability right here, which this already has a good thickness for stability. So I don't think it's gonna benefit or take away from anything. Maybe bring a little bit more toughness to that front end if you're gonna do a lot of this. But yeah, I don't have many negatives, guys. This is it's almost too good to be true. Like I said, man, here's a negative. Here's a negative. Damn it, TWOSUN, why don't you do all your knives at the same level. I don't know, I've heard, this is the theory I've heard, I don't know if this is true or not, I don't obviously know, but I've heard from other people that, are in the knife industry and know companies or are in the companies, that TWOSUN actually uses multiple different OEMs. They don't make their knives, they actually use companies to make their knives, and then sell it as their own. So the problem is that they'll have one model made by a specific company, that company will be the company making it, so you're getting their standards. Then you'll go to another model and it'll be made by a different company that might not have as high of standards as, them. Now, the only thing that I think, or the only reason why I'm not saying I don't believe that because I don't know if it's true or not, but the only thing that would lead me to believe that that's not true is that their finishes and certain things are like the same across the board. Like it's just, so it seems like it's the same company because, otherwise maybe we see a few variations here and there, but I would say 90% of them have the same finishes and stuff, which makes you believe that it's from the same machine. But anyways, I don't know what's true and what's not, but I will say though that some of their models are not as good as others, and some of them do come with not like issues as far as like failing and problems like that, but like just little details that seem like they're skipped over. And yeah, some of them I have seen where it's like, I know they did not do a prototype, so otherwise they would have caught specific things. I've seen like one of them had a tip hanging out. Another one I seen the button lock, like the lock face geometry was just horrible. I've seen just a bunch of little things, but then there's some like this one that is just damn amazing and makes you want to buy more of them. Work hard, stay tough. Until next time, peace.